up, everybody? This is your boy Bluesy here from the Token Minorities, bringing you a video from this past March Madness bracket tournament we had, where we had you guys battle all on your 3DSs, and it's a huge big bracket. Anyways, this video is from the losers bracket. This is the final championship of the losers bracket to see who would fight against Sticky, our own MStyx, in the winners bracket finals. So, without further ado, we're going to take a look at what we got for our teams here. As of course, we have Yellan, and we have w18ftw. I believe that stands for the win. So let's take a look at their teams here. Yellan's got you know, a pretty bulky team here. And the first thing I'm seeing is that his Scissor is going to be a really nice switch in on W18's Sylveon. That's a problem I've always fallen into with my Sylveon. If W18's running a Char X, that Lando is really gonna love it. Though I've known in the past that W18 really likes to run a bulky Char X, so that's gonna be really interesting. Keldeo is just going to be a nice little revenge sweeper to come in. Latias is going to soak up some damage. Tyranitar is, well, Tyranitar. I'm guessing it's not a Mega. I'm going to take a wild guess that Yellan's Charizard is going to be a Mega. And looking at his team, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Mega Y, but it could go either way and still be somewhat balanced. Now, on W18's team, this is a team that I'm more familiar with, and I really like that he's running a Hippowdon. I run a Hippowdon on my OU team, too, and I find that he's a fantastic wall just to mess with people, especially if he runs Whirlwind and Rocks and so on and so forth. I'd be really curious to see if he's running that, because that's really going to mess with Yellan's team eventually down the road, and especially it's going to be a really good switch in for his T-Tar. Azumarill is going to be also a nice little piece of the puzzle here that's going to flesh everything out, and I'm curious to see how the Charizard and Latias matchup is going to happen here. I wonder how that's all going to turn out. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the match here. I think this is one of the matches that I've really anticipated looking forward to, because if I'm correct, I believe Yellan beat Jolt in the semifinals of the losers bracket, and moved on to play W18, who was beat by Styx. But without further ado, we have Keldeo and Sylveon out in the first turn, and Yellan's going to switch out his Keldeo for his Charizard. So right off the bat, it looks like we're going to see what his Mega is, hopefully. W18's going to take his Sylveon and try to go out with Azumarill, which is going to be an interesting matchup against Charizard, but I don't think you want to keep it in there, get the Aqua Jet out at all. He's going to want to go into his Latias, and then that's going to be a huge problem for his Charizard. And it looks like right here he's using a Charizard Mega Y. So he's got that special attack balance going on there, and that Drought is going to be really nice with whatever fire move he's using, either Flamethrower or Fire Blast, but he decides to go with the Solar Beam. And the Solar Beam, of course, is going to move on the first turn, and it's going to do a little bit of damage to Latias, but Latias, that's just what he's for. He's there to soak up damage, but I don't know that he can do a whole ton to Charizard Y, so he's going to switch out to his Hippowdon. That's a good move, because that's going to take care of Drought, or of the Drought of the Sun. The Hippowdon Sandstream is going to make a Sandstorm, and now Charizard cannot rely on its Solar Beam or its heightened fire moves. But he does use, I believe that was a Fire Blast, and he hits Hippowdon, and that does hurt. That's a nice special attack against a physical wall, and he's going to not like that. But he sends out his Latias again, which is actually a good move. That was an interesting switch in and out to move to his special wall. But of course, Yellan gets the burn chance with his Charizard Y, and he burns Latias. And W18, I'm sure his Latias is not liking that right now. I find it interesting that his Latias is named Sapphire, because in the old games you could catch Latias in Sapphire and Latios in Ruby, if I remember correctly. So now here's T-Tar. I wonder if he'll take advantage of the Sandstorm that actually W18's Hippowdon has set up. I think that's an interesting mechanic that not a lot of people get to use effectively this day, using somebody else's choice as their own little boost. So, oh wow, oh, he just used Pursuit. Wow, what a great call on Yellan's part. Using his Pursuit on the expected switch out for Latias just totally took him out. So now W18 has lost his special wall. Looks like W18 has sent out Terrakion, and, well, T-Tar just isn't going to like that at all. So, a good switch-in, very good switch-in by Yellan was Lando. But it looks like, I believe that was a Stone Edge. It looks like Terrakion hit Lando with a Stone Edge, and that's going to hurt a little bit. That's going to almost do 50% health, but with some lefties, that'll bring him up closer to 75%, so we're still in comfortable territory. Terrakion's going to get sent out for his Charizard, and I believe this is going to be a Charizard X, a Mega Charizard X. Good choice on Yellan's part to use Stealth Rocks here. That's going to put some pressure on his team, especially when he's switching around. I'm sorry, that's going to put pressure on W18, because that was Yellan's Lando that used Stealth Rocks. And here comes Yellan's Latias, but if you look here, I think he was expecting a Charizard Y, and instead, looks like W18 is using his Charizard X. And that's not going to be nice for Latias, and that duality of Latias getting burned after kind of as a revenge burn. And that's going to be a very easy switch out there. No Pursuit that time, though. I find that kind of funny. Straight into Scizor. I'm curious to see what Scizor can do here, but looks like whatever it is, W18 just doesn't want to have any of it, and he sends in his Sylveon. I'm questioning that a little bit. The Sylveon, doesn't typically do well against a Steel type like Scizor. Scizor's going to go for the U-turn, though, to get off a little hack damage. He's going to switch out for something else. I'm curious to see what he switches out to. Looks like he's going to be switching out into his Charizard. His Mega Charizard Y is a special, and Sylveon is most commonly used as a special wall. That Hyper Voice is going to hurt just a little bit, even though it's not very effective. And Yellan's Charizard has set up the Sun again. He looks like he's just switching around a lot to try to get the Sun up. He's sending out Keldeo. It's a very interesting choice, but there's a lot of switching around going on here, and I'm not 100% sure what Yellan or W18 are trying to do. It's a lot of dancing around right now. It's really curious, honestly. I honestly think that Yellan's just trying to provoke W18 at this point, just trying to dance around him, because I'm not sure that W18 can really do much to most of the pokes that Yellan is switching around, mainly his Keldeo and his Charizard. But Sylveon's going to do a Wish Pass back into his Charizard, hoping to actually maybe get some damage, even after the Stealth Rocks, after, Charizard Y does the Fire Blast. That Wish will just heal Charizard X right up, and I'm curious to see how these two Charizards are going to take each other on in this showdown here. Both at full health after a Roost by Charizard Y. I believe that was a Dragon Claw there, if I saw that correctly, and that's really going to hurt Yellan's Charizard Y. So he's going to switch out. He's going to go into his Lando T. Oh man. W18's Charizard X is not going to like that Lando T. He's going to try to get a Will-O-Wisp on him, maybe take some damage off of Lando T, but that's definitely going to put a timer. A burned Lando T is not something you want, and I'm not sure that Yellan really has anything like a Heal Bell or an Aromatherapy to take that burn status off. And as always, it looks like W18 is making the right decision in taking his Charizard X right out of there. Sylveon's going to come in, maybe set up some Wish Passing, anything of that sort. An Earthquake is not going to be nice, although this seems to be a very bulky Sylveon set. I'm surprised. An Earthquake like that usually should do a lot more. Then again, I'm very used to Sticky's custom Sylveon build, and so maybe this is just a more standard type that's going to take an Earthquake much better. Lando T is going to get out of there, going to get some hack damage with U-turn, which is going to be interesting. He's going to go back, and Sylveon, I'm sure, is either going to set up a Wish Pass or is going to just Hyper Voice whatever comes out there. If he tries to Hyper Voice this Scizor, it's not going to do much, but it looks like Sylveon's going for that Wish there. I wonder if he's going to try to do this Wish here, stay in, and maybe use a Hyper Voice to get some hack damage, but it looks like he's going for the conventional choice of the Protect to get his Sylveon back to full health. As they always say, if you keep your Sylveon alive, your team is still in fighting condition. That Sylveon can keep most teams alive. That was a very heavy bullet punch right there, though. That took out a huge amount of damage. That's that Steel type working in there, and I don't know that W18 is really liking that. I don't know that he can do much right now at the moment to bring his Sylveon back to full health, except maybe a Protect to get leftovers back, to get a a good 6% health back, and then not take any damage. But I wouldn't be surprised if W18 switches out his Sylveon, and it looks like that's what he's doing. I'm curious to see what he sends out. Now he's sending out his Charizard. That's going to both block anything physical that Scizor sends his way, and also if he can get a physical fire-type move in there, that's really going to hurt his Scizor. But Yellan makes the very obvious prediction of taking out his Scizor, sending in his Lando. Now, even though his Lando is burned, it can take a hit from Charizard X and deal some massive damage to that thing. So I think it looks like at this situation, W18's best position, his best choice is either, of course, roosting like he just did, and then taking his Char X out and throwing in something that's going to be able to take a hit from Lando T. I'd be curious to see if he sends in his Hippowdon at some point on the Lando T just to soak up damage. He chooses to use a Dragon Claw, I believe, on Lando T, which is an interesting choice, especially because that Earthquake is going to do a massive amount of damage. Thunk. So that's really curious, though. It looks like they're really just kind of hacking away at each other and trying to out-predict each other. There's a lot of very interesting choices trying to really kind of guess what the other person is doing, and a lot of times it doesn't look like they're 100% right some of the time, which is making for some very interesting matchups here. But we're talking about the two of the best players in this bracket, the two guys that made it to the end of the losers bracket, who's going to go up against Styx, winner of the winners bracket. So, of course, these guys are hugely aggressive. They have fantastic playing styles, and to pit two of these guys next to each other is going to be make for an insane battle. So it looks like W18's Charizard X is out of the game. That's going to make a huge difference. That's a lot of power, a lot of OP power that's just not going to be in the game anymore. But it looks like we have W18's Azumarill out against Yellan's Charizard Y with a Drought in the air, which is going to make for an Aqua Jet with decreased power. But that priority still makes sure that it gets in there and that it takes out that Charizard Y right away. Yellan is going to send in his Latias. And he's, I believe is that a Thunder Shock, a Thunderbolt? I'm not sure. Some sort of Thunder move that's just gonna hit Azumarill so hard, it's not gonna wake up tomorrow morning. Honestly, that thing is out for the game. So, looks like W18 is down to only 3 pokes, so is, actually Yellan is only down to 2. And W18 makes the interesting choice of sending in his Terrakion, which is could do a lot of damage to Latias, but it also looks like Latias gets the priority and is able to use the Draco Meteor. Thunk. Oh man, that's going to do a massive amount of Terrakion, but I'm surprised that it just hung on after a huge hit like that. Terrakion then is able to use what looks to be a Stone Edge, and Latias is down and out for the count. So, 3v3 at this point, it looks like it's a very even match, though I would put my money at this point on Yellan, even though there's no telling at this point. Yellan's Scizor just very easily uses a priority Bullet Punch to take out the Terrakion, and it's soon 2-3. Still can't tell at this point, though. These two guys know what they're doing. They're able to account for any of their missed predictions and kind of swing the game in their direction when they can. W18 makes the interesting choice of sending in his Hippowdon to soak up some damage from Scizor, but Scizor's Bullet Punch is still enough to take out the Hippowdon. That's surprising. I'm sure these two guys are calcing everything that's going on, but with Sylveon versus Scizor, and Sylveon only with, I don't know how much, like 15% health left, and a Bullet Punch right to the face, ladies and gentlemen, that is the game. Wow, that was a very intense match. I was very surprised by how W18 and Yellan were really on the top of their games, really trying to outpredict each other and sending in somewhat unconventional choices, almost as if to confuse the other player. I do really like some of W18's strategies. especially kind of saving his Hippowdon for a wall towards the end whenever he needed it. It looks like he didn't really use his Hippowdon and Terrakion unless he really needed it, which is nice to have those in his pocket. And he actually didn't bring his Latias out until much later after Yellan had brought his out, which is also an interesting choice. But it looks like ultimately in the end, Yellan's choices of really, he really nicely used his Charizard, his Mega Charizard Y, to take out a lot of W18's pokes. And Lando is kind of a soaking, to kind of soak up damage even when it had a burn. He didn't really even use his Tyranitar that much. Scizor ended up kind of sweeping in the end and cleaning up a lot, which I really liked. And that my favorite play would probably have to have been when Keldeo came in, and I believe that was either a Scald or a Hydro Pump that he just totally knocked out Charizard, W18's Charizard Mega X. So it looks like Yellan will be going on to play Styx in the final match of this entire March Madness bracket tournament, which should be really interesting. So congratulations to both players for making it this far in the tournament, and congratulations Yellan for taking out the entirety of the losers bracket and making it on to the final championship battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you guys want. You know, it's just, this is the internet. This is all fun. We love that you guys support us. We support you just as much. And I hope you guys have a lovely day. This is your boy Bluesy, signing out. Ow!